Children in your care are your responsibility. This includes when you drive. Parents trust educators with what is most precious to them. When it comes to transporting children, choosing the correct seat for each child is one of the most important decisions educators need to make. In this course, we are going to look at the key principles to assess if a seat is appropriate, how to install it correctly, and how to use it correctly. Why this matters to educators that are transporting children. Keeping children safe and supported is our main goal. Safe transport is part of this vision. Transport injuries are a leading cause of harm in children. It is against the law and against Ignite Minds policies to transport children without appropriate restraints. In case of an accident, if an educator is found to not have provided an appropriate restraint to a child, the educator might not be covered by insurance and could face serious prosecution and penalties. You are responsible for the children you are transporting. This is the law and your duty of care. The right seat and the right fit can mean a life-saving difference. The type of restraint required will depend on the child's age and size. Although car restraints are divided by age groups, we must assess both the age and the size to determine which restraint is appropriate. Ultimately, size will be the most important indicator to choose the correct restraint for a child. When we talk about size, we're referring to the child's torso or distance from their hips to their shoulders. 0 to 6 months. A rear-facing child car seat. Children should remain in their rear-facing restraint until they reach the maximum height marker. This will usually happen way past 6 months old. Rear-facing restraints are safer as they offer better protection for the head, neck and spine of babies and young children. This is why we should keep children in rear-facing restraints for as long as possible. 7 months to under 4 years. Between 7 months to 4 years old, children will outgrow their rear-facing restraint and will be ready to move to their forward-facing restraint. This will happen at a different time for every child. This is why the most important indicator for this change will be the child's size. All restraints have minimum and maximum shoulder height markers. We should only move a child from rear-facing to forward-facing when their shoulder is at the maximum height marker on their rear-facing restraint and meets the minimum height marker on their forward-facing restraint. 4 years to under 7 years old. Between the ages of 4 and 7 years old, children will normally outgrow their forward-facing child seat and will be ready to use a booster seat. They should only move to a booster once their shoulder is at the maximum height marker on their forward-facing restraint and they meet the minimum height for the booster seat. 7 years to 16 years. Between 7 years old to 16 years old, children might use a forward-facing restraint, a booster seat, or the adult car seat. This will depend on their height. Once they outgrow their forward-facing restraint, they are ready to move to a booster. Once they outgrow their booster and pass the 5-step test, they are ready to move to the adult car seat. 5-step test. The 5-step test is a set of 5 indicators that will allow us to determine if a child is ready to use an adult car seat without a restraint. This normally happens between 7 to 16 years old, or when the child is taller than 145 centimetres. 1. Can the child seat with their back against the vehicle seat? 2. Do the child's knees bend in front of the edge of the seat? 3. Does the belt sit across the middle of the shoulder? 4. Does the belt sit across the hips, touching the thighs? 5. Can the child stay seated during the whole trip? Only if all of these are a clear yes can the child sit on an adult's car seat. Shoulder markers. Every restraint has a set of markers that indicate the appropriate height range. We must adhere to these indicators and change restraints if the child's shoulders are not within the defined range. These markers measure the height of a child from their pelvis to their shoulders. Depending on the manufacturer and the type of restraint, these markers might look slightly different but will always indicate a minimum and maximum shoulder height. Exemptions. Children with disabilities or medical conditions may be exempt. Exceptional circumstances, such as a medical emergency. Remember, child size, shoulder height, seat right, safe and tight. In the next module, we will look at the best practices and recommended steps to install a car seat.